Hello, my friends, and welcome to Bill Swerski's Tournament Talk. I'm Thomas Senna. Bill Swerski is out again. He took very large doses of Hibernal, 5-Hour Empathy, and Zentrex. We might not see Bill Swerski for a while. So I'm your trusty co-pilot here on Bill Swerski's Tournament Talk, which is the show in which we compile memorable SNL moments in any given category, and 4 panelists, including myself and 4 others, break them down in a bracket, vote, discuss, and declare a champion. In the past, we've done best holiday moment, best cameo, best bit, best musical guest appearance, best recurring character. So go listen to those if you haven't already. This week, we're declaring the best commercial parody. I'm so excited for this. So let's get to it. I want to introduce you all to our panelists. First off, returning to the show, she was on for the Best Cameos episode. SNL superfan, Ashley Bauer. Ashley, you didn't get banned from Bill Swerski's Tournament Talk. How do you feel about that honor?
I'm very relieved. Actually, I was 100% convinced that I got myself banned last time.
We all did. So I'm super happy you're back, though. It was like down to the wire.
Yes.
Hopefully. How was your experience last time?
Oh, I loved it. I had so much fun. I was so happy to be invited back. Again, super relieved I did not get banned. Really hoping that I don't threaten that again. I'd say something too controversial. We'll see. It is me.
Always controversial. Yes, Ashley Bauer, always very controversial. Lovely to have you back, though. Also joining us, host of a great comedy podcast, Ian Talks Comedy. We have Ian Fermeglich. Ian, welcome to Tournament Talk. How are you doing today?
Doing really good. Excited. Can't wait to talk about some SNL commercials.
Yes. So I think this is a really fun one because it's really niche. Like we could go a lot of ways with commercial parodies. So it's not. I don't think there's like a ton of like obvious things, Ian. So I'm excited to have like a comedic brain like yourself to kind of pick apart, because going into this, I had no idea where people were going to go. Also joining us, one of the original great SNL podcasters, someone who I used to listen to before I started podcasting about SNL. I would tune in to see what they had to say about any given episode. Of course, she was on SNL After Party, someone who I've never met before, so I'm excited that I get this opportunity today. We have Catherine Coleman. Thank you for being here, Catherine.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk SNL again and talk commercial parodies. They're my favorite types of sketches to write, and I really love watching them as well. So this was a good one to end up on.
So what's your what is your SNL origin story briefly? When did you start watching the show? And
I watched it sort of sporadically when I was like in high school, so like the Bill Hader years, Kristen Wiig, and then I got really into it like in like 2015, 2016 is when I really like dove in like obsessively and kind of went back and watched a lot of older stuff and like started watching every week, and then eventually got on the podcast and stuff. Like I think like Kate McKinnon really lured me in and is so great and everything. So
that's awesome. So Catherine, thank you so much for being here. Also on the show today, co-founder of the Not Ready for Primetime Project, Gary Seath. Very good to see you, Gary.
Oh, it's good to be seen, Thomas. I'm happy to be back on Tournament Talk. Yeah, just right? To be seen, not heard. I'll mute my mic now. I'll see my way out.
Good. Well, nice talking to you, Gary. Gary, how are you feeling coming into this? Having, we've done a few of these tournament talks before. How do you feel about the commercial parodies one?
I love commercial parodies, so I'm really excited. Like Catherine, it's one of my favorite parts of the show when we see commercial parodies. So I'm excited to talk to everyone about them because I think there's just so many different ways we can go, like you said.
Yeah, exactly. 50 years of really great commercial parodies. Of course, that's what we'll be breaking down today. We have 12 sketches that we'll be discussing, divided into 4 regions. 8 sketches have to battle it out in the first round. The top 4 seeds, as determined by the always magical selection committee who comes up with this bracket. So the top 4 seeds automatically move on to round 2. We'll vote on who should advance, talk about why, until a champion is declared. All 4 panelists will have a vote in every matchup. So Catherine, Gary, Ian, Ashley all vote in every matchup. If the vote is 2-2, then I'll be summoned. I'll be asked. I'll have the privilege to use the tiebreaker vote. I take that very seriously. I think Gary pushed for me to have the tiebreaker, and Brad was wildly against it. So, Gary, I want to thank you again for this honor.
I am pro Thomas, despite what Brad says. Yeah,
I know you are. Thank you. Pro Thomas and pro Paul Simon, despite what people think.
That's right. Don't let Brad fool you on that account either.
It's not guilt by association. Thank you so much, Gary. Before we get into the actual bracket, we do have some honorable mentions, some stuff that just barely missed the cut that I think is interesting, and kind of leads me into a little discussion I want to have before we start breaking stuff down. So barely missing the cut, we have 4 that were right there on the cusp. Mom jeans, which was one from the past 15, 20 years. That was just became a really like a classic of that era. Little Chocolate Donuts missed the cut, a classic from the original era. Also, Buckwheat Sings and Bassomatic 76, which I want to highlight those 2 especially because both are live sketches. Buckwheat Sings might have been live to tape. Eddie was doing that at a certain point in his tenure. So something that seemed live, he might have taped it, but I think it's the spirit of being live. Bassomatic was live. So this leads me to wonder what constitutes a commercial parody to you all? Like, what are the components that define a commercial parody? Does it have to be a pre-tape? Does it, so I want to start with you, Catherine. Like, what are your thoughts on what even constitutes a commercial parody?
Yeah, it's a great question because I actually emailed you like a few weeks ago and it's like, do movie trailer parodies count as commercial parodies? Because in a way, like that's a commercial, but in a way, it feels in a very different spirit than a true commercial parody. But yeah, like I think to me, I do generally prefer pre-taped ones, but I did consider some live ones. Anything that's like an ad for something, I guess, like, and the ones I like best are the ones that are like commenting on a commercial trope. Like I do love it when they make up a new product, but I think it's actually harder to write like a true commercial parody that is like, something that's like, the drug commercials that are list 100 side effects and the commentary is on that, not like it being a funny drug name. I really tend to lean towards those, which only sort of answers your question. But yeah, that's like my favorite type of commercial parody.
Yeah, Ian, I know how much you love, especially like the Buckwheat Sings commercial, Bassomatic 76. Why do you think that those maybe didn't miss the cut? Like, what were people seeing there, or not seeing there, I should say, that you see in those commercial parodies?
Well, I did notice that every commercial parody that's on the list came after 1990, so maybe that might have something to do with it. Bassomatic 76, I'm surprised they didn't get on the list. Buckwheat Sings I could see because it's, it is an ad for a record, Buckwheat Sings, and it parodied those commercials that we would see late at night in the 80s and 90s for like really bad albums. And but people think of that as a character in a sketch and maybe didn't, put that down as a commercial parody. But I think Jim Downey said like the best commercial parodies are for products that we don't need with a whole bunch of rules that don't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, Jim Downey, I would bow to his authority on that one. Of course, we don't have to have Bassomatic and Buckwheat Sings on our list in order for them to be considered classics. So definitely honorable mentions. Ashley, there was one that I was kind of struggling with coming into this that's not on the list. What's one of my favorites. I know you love it too. And It's a Time Crowave, the Alec Baldwin, Kristen Wiig one, and I just couldn't decide if it was an actual parody of like a type of commercial or if it was like a sketch that like just happened to live in the commercial setting, if that makes sense. So that I struggled with Time Crowave, even though I love that sketch.
Yeah, I think too. I struggled at first with what is the definition of a commercial parody, and when it was opened up to anything live and not just the pre-tape, I was torn. I was both elated and terrified because I think it made it so much harder for me personally, because now it just added like 100 more sketches that now I had to try to go through. But the reason I love Time Crowave so much is, and I felt like it did qualify, was because it gave that infomercial feel, that kind of like, I don't even remember what they're called, like HSN, QVC or whatever, where it's like the 20, 30 minute, like space that somebody buys and they're just talking about the one product. And even though it wasn't quite like the typical QVC ones that we've seen SNL do, that was kind of the essence that I got from it. And I love the little subtle things in the background, the little attention to detail that you maybe didn't notice at first, kind of took your brain a second to process what was going on through the window. That one's so good. It's sad to not see it, but I probably have a good like 30 that are my honorable mentions. So I can't.
Yeah, I know us SNL geeks, we have like 50 honorable mentions.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's no shade to the ones that didn't make this list. But these, I guess, were considered the best of the best that did. One that I consider a great sketch that takes place in the world of a commercial that's not a commercial parody. It'd be something like Del Taco, like, oh man, I'm all out of cash. Like, I think that's parodying the making, or I don't know, making fun of the making of a commercial, or like a hard ass director or something. But I've seen lists that talk about that as like, oh, great commercial parodies, and I disagree with that. So, Gary, what was your thought process about this coming in?
I decided to be very strict with myself because there were so many things that could fit into this world, this category, that I didn't put Bassomatic on my list because it wasn't pre-taped. I didn't put any movie trailers because I wanted it to be product specific. So that's the way that I thought of it, was product specific commercial parodies that were just kind of, well, that were funny, but they were not. It was like a very tight range for because I just felt like there were so many possibilities that I needed to narrow it down more and more for myself to get a reasonable list to send to the Magic Committee.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And I think I was a little more in my thought process coming in a little more loose with it. Like Catherine had asked about movie trailers, and I think that I do consider those commercial parodies. I had considered coming in. They did a really good Wes Anderson one. For instance, it was like, what was it? The Midnight Coteries of the Sinister. Like I have to look it up, but I love
Sinister Intruders. Yeah,
Sinister Intruders. That was a great parody of a Wes Anderson trailer. Grouch was a really another great one when David Harbour hosted. So I kind of do, but I can see why, just to focus yourself, you'd want to kind of focus on like the product oriented ones.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, like when I was taking sketch classes at UCB, I want to say we covered movie trailer parodies in the same class as commercial parodies. So I guess by their definition, they are the same. I ultimately ended up just looking at a Wikipedia list of every commercial parody SNL's ever done. And I was like, well, if they count, if those mysterious people counted, I guess I will.
Who's to argue Wikipedia? No, that is a good place to start.
I was just going to ask too, because as I started trying to define for myself what it was, did it count as a commercial parody? The ones where it was clearly like a not licensed, not authorized, like the Swerski crystals, where it's clearly just kind of some like con man, like pretending to sell something, and it's clearly not affiliated with that company whatsoever. Because if so, that certainly would have made it on my list. But I ultimately decided that, again, it's just, if I keep opening it up, I'm making it harder on myself. So, yeah.
I would agree with the instinct not to put the ex-porn stars infomercial things on. Like, I love those ones, Cecily and Vanessa. Yeah, right. Yeah, they were great, but I don't think that quite fits here. But I'm ready to kind of break down what is on the list.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, heck yeah. So I'll start with Region 1. So we have 3 sketches in Region 1. One of them automatically moves along to the second round. 2 of them battle it out here. So the 2 that are battling out here, the 12 seed, The Love Toilet. That was Victoria Jackson and Kevin Nealon. They're taking on 6 seed, Happy Fun Ball. Similar eras of SNL, one of those late 80s, early 90s golden eras here. So we have The Love Toilet versus Happy Fun Ball. The winner will advance to take on the Emma Stone classic Julio Torres penned Wells for Boys. So let's go ahead and vote here on The Love Toilet versus Happy Fun Ball. And I'm going to kick things off with Ashley with the first vote.
Oh, gosh. So, this one was a little bit tough for me just because they were so different. The Love Toilet is kind of, it builds and it doesn't really go where you think it's going to go at first. And I think that's what's part of making it so funny and classic is the build up and just their commitment to it. But Happy Fun Ball, I think, it starts what you think is going to be this adorable toy for children, and it just completely devolves. Each disclaimer just keeps getting more alarming and more alarming. And even though it's not as in your face, I don't know, I think I'm going to vote for Happy Fun Ball. I think just because the disclaimers, I just kept laughing more and more. And again, military, so the fact that they used it in Iraq, I thought was just kind of the chef's kiss to seal it all off.
Yeah, nice touch there.
Yeah.
Ian, what do you think here?
I'm agreeing. I'm voting for Happy Fun Ball, and I was about to say one of my favorite lines is we shipped a whole bunch to our men in service, and we're dropping another whole bunch on our enemies in Iraq. So, yeah, that's the funniest line in that. I think it's a Jack Handy sketch. I'm not sure, but I think it's a really funny commercial parody.
It feels like a Jack Handy. Like
I believe it is. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it is. But like without even going to I would just assume it was a Jack Handy for sure. It has that weirdness about it. Catherine, I assume you were able to go back when you started your SNL journey to Love Toilet, Happy Fun Ball era here.
Yeah. I was familiar with these before I got the list. And I think both are really fun. Like I think The Love Toilet is so silly and so stupid, and I love that about it. But I think Happy Fun Ball is special in the sense that I feel like it was probably one of the first commercial parodies of that era of the drug commercials with those side effects. So it sort of has like an almost like the Seinfeld effect where you're like, well, this feels a little cheesy, but it's like, no, this was actually probably the first one that did it. And so I think for that reason, I'm going to go with Happy Fun Ball.
So it looks like Happy Fun Ball is going to advance. Just such a joke machine of a sketch with all those warnings, like a whole laundry list of warnings that we'll definitely get into because it's going to advance to face Wells for Boys. Gary, I do love the love. I know you love this sketch too, and I've always been a fan of the Love Toilet. Just such a funny reveal after an earnest opening to this sketch.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite commercials ever. I mean, I remember seeing it. I don't remember if I saw it live, but around that time when it first came out, and it was always one of the best commercials in my mind. It's one that stuck with me forever. And it's just so absurd because the beginning is not, it's very romantic. You do everything together. You play together. You dine together. Why not share the most intimate moment of your life together? And you're like, what is this? And then they show them on the toilet, and it's just, I loved it. And the work that they did on the prop of that toilet is excellent. And it just kind of helps put it over the top for me. I think this is great.
I know as an SNL geek, I think about the prop department too. And they conceived of this idea, and then they're having to shared the ideas. Like, can you make this? Here's our idea for the love toilet, and all of a sudden, here's the prop. And then I wonder what happened to the love toilet. It should be in the Smithsonian.
The way they formed it so you're right next to one another too. It's just it's the perfect love toilet. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Kevin and Victoria play it so like sincere and tender. It's just so perfectly played. I think it just went up against a kind of a beast in Happy Fun Ball, something that I know just every SNL nerd kind of quotes still to this day. So long, love toilet. Great idea. I don't know. I might buy a love toilet.
Well, I don't know if I'd buy one, but I enjoy the commercials.
So in Region 2, we'll move on to that. So again, it's going to be Happy Fun Ball against Wells for Boys. I'm excited about that. Region 2, we have Amazon Echo Silver. That was a whole like big cast like Keenan and Kyle Mooney, Kate McKinnon. They were all in this Amazon Echo Silver ad parody. That's going to be taken on Annuel. So Tina Fey, I think this happened when Tina came back to host. Casey Wilson's in it, Amy Poehler, Kristen Wiig. So Amazon Echo Silver versus Annuel. They're going to be the winner of that's going to be taken on Totina's Pizza Rolls Part 3. So let's go to the matchup: Amazon Echo Silver, Annuel. Catherine, I want to get your vote here.
Why? Because I bribed the selection committee to make sure that Amazon Silver got on the list.
Hey, you do what you got to do. I respect it.
Look, if I'm being objective, it's a perfect sketch. If I'm also being subjective, it's quoted in my house daily. Like, I have never once asked Alexa for anything without first calling her Allegra as a joke. I think like it's just like it's such a good joke machine, like a feature to add on to Alexa to like I eventually even like I wrote like an Alexa mom mode sketch because it's so easy to just make fun of a trope in this format of like how would Alexa treat them. So I think it's really clever. It's a great setup. It has every joke hits so hard. I love Amazon Silver. Annuel, also a classic. It's a Tina Fey. It's like it's the most Tina Fey sketch maybe ever, and I love her. But I'm gonna vote Amazon Silver.
All right, Amazon Echo Silver gets a vote. Ashley has the look on her face to quote Amazon Echo Silver. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. Thomas, you know me too well. Yeah, anyone who's listened to any of the podcasts I have been so privileged to be on knows how I feel about my Lord and Savior Tina Fey. I think this is one of not just the greatest commercials of all time, but the greatest sketch concepts of all time. And of course, because it was written and conceived by Tina Fey, is absolute brilliance. I think we were talking earlier about, what makes a commercial parody. And Catherine, I think it was you talking about, the ability to make fun of a real product. And I love that she takes the commercials were almost exactly like that back in the early aughts. And, with the little subtle pink props in the background, this is, for women and yay. And, we're supposed to be so happy. And how Tina Fey brought that in, with the sneaker and someone's painting a little pink circle on the wall. But then to bring in the pink when they lose their mind and they have the one period a year and the acts that she's like coming to murder everyone in her office with is pink. The dog that Kristen Wiig makes out with is wearing a pink collar. Just everything from start to finish to me is just amazing and somehow so relatable at the same time as well, if I'm going to be real. I love it. And especially, I think one of my favorite lines in the whole thing is, ask your doctor if Annuel is right for you. And if she says that it is, go to a store, buy a hat, and get ready to hold the F onto it. I have to vote for this one. As I love the Amazon Silver one. It's hilarious, especially how, everyone says, I don't know about that. I wish those weren't up against each other because I think the Amazon Echo became an instant classic the second it aired. But that gotta go with Annuel.
I agree here. So it's 1-1. Gary, which one of these do you relate more so to, Annuel or Amazon Echo Silver?
Oh, sadly, I think we know the answer to that. But I'm going to go with Annuel because anything that may turn your baby into a fire monster gets my vote.
Annuel 2-1. Yeah. I love it. It has like a happy fun ball kind of like vibe as far as like the warnings go.
Yeah.
I love it. Ian, I genuinely don't know what you're going to vote for here. I don't know if I'm going to have to use my tiebreaker or what's going to be the deal here.
This is one that I think was my toughest choice here because they're both very, very well written commercial parodies. Annuel has got that great line, when your period comes, alert the authorities so they can werewolf you in a cage. Great. And how many men did old Satchel pitch last night? He died.
I love that line.
But I'm going to make you break the tie. I'm going to go for Amazon Echo.
How sadistic of you. This early in the show, and I'm already having to...
Oh, don't pretend like you weren't licking your chops to get your voice heard here.
All right,
I saw
enough.
you.
I love this. Okay. Let's see. Annuel, Amazon Echo Silver. I'm going to give this to the one that I think's the most quotable. The one, like as Catherine said, I kind of quote like with my Alexa. I call it Odessa. I always have to call it Odessa. I laughed really too hard at the Angela play black jazz, and then she's like playing jazz. And my stepson, he's criticized SNL. He's obviously younger, and he's like, he's one of those like, SNL's not funny. But then he got all excited when we were having dinner one night. He's like, I got to show you this video. And he shows us the Amazon Echo Silver. And I'm like, did you just show us an SNL sketch? I think you did. So maybe that's the tiebreaker. So I'm going to move on Amazon Echo Silver.
Awesome. I'll stick around for another round.
Okay, good. Yeah, Catherine's like, I got to go.
Well, it was like, who are you going to piss off more, Catherine or Ashley? So
and
you made that choice, Thomas.
I've known Ashley. I've pissed her off plenty of times. I've known her for 23 years. So you would think that I would show favoritism because of that. But I'm like maybe less afraid to piss her off because it's happened before.
He knows I won't leave.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll just pull the knife out of my back when we're done filming. It's fine.
Yeah, Ashley though with Annuel, I love how just the whole commercial plays out like this horror movie.
Yeah.
Just like the disorienting visuals, and I just love the horror movie aspect of it.
The turn of that sketch is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It really is.
So any parting words, Ashley? Since I know this is like you're a Tina Fey girl, this is your baby.
Oh,
I know I'm sorry. I want to give you the eulogy here for Annuel.
Thank you. R.I.P. It wasn't a tough enough week for me having to say goodbye to Coach Pop. You had to take away Annuel from me too. But it was such a tough seed. So many quotable lines in Amazon Echo too. But I know Annuel, despite this vote, will go down in history as one of the greatest of all time. With the evil maniacal laugh in the background as, they're losing their mind or whatever. But I'll pour one out for Annuel.
Yes, and hold on to your effing hat because we have more commercial parodies to go over here. We'll move on to Region 3. We have Almost Pizza, which is a great Bill Hader, Kristen Wiig, Nassim Pedrad enters the picture in this sketch, taking on The United Way, which is technically a digital short. A lot of people don't look at it as a digital short, but it is a digital short. Of course, when Peyton Manning hosted that great episode. So we have Almost Pizza versus United Way. That's going to take on First Citywide Change Bank from October of '88 in the next round. So we do have a pre-1990 commercial parody here. So I hope that makes Ian feel good. It's like, this is worth your time, Ian.
Okay.
So let's do it. Almost Pizza, United Way. Ian, you'll get the first vote here.
I'm voting for United Way. I think that he does a great job. It's playing against all those United Way commercials that if you watch football, there's one seems like every commercial break. And it's just how rough he plays with the kids and throwing the football really, really hard. And I just think it's really funny. And almost pizza. It's okay. It's not one of my favorites, but the United Way is a very funny sketch.
All right, 1-0 United Way. Catherine, I don't know if you're a sports fan, if you're a football fan, if you were aware of Peyton Manning. I don't know if like going into that, if an awareness of Peyton Manning needed to have an awareness of Peyton Manning to really enjoy this sketch. Like, what do you think about this matchup?
I mean, I would say you definitely need to know who Peyton Manning is, and I do, so it worked. I'm originally from Alabama, so we're familiar with
SEC country.
And I think United Way was like an instant classic in the way that it was like perfectly suited. It was an ideal use of the host they had, and it's really funny. But Almost Pizza is my favorite commercial parody maybe ever. I realize I just like went off the chain about Amazon Echo Silver, but that's because I felt like I needed to make a passionate plea. Like Almost Pizza was used as an example of commercial parodies, like in my like Sketch 201 class. It perfectly, takes the DiGiorno ads of the time of like, it's not delivery, it's worse. And I think they heighten it so well. I love the pacing of it. It makes me laugh out loud every single time. So I'm going to go Almost Pizza.
Awesome. 1-1 here in this matchup. Gary, how do you feel about this one?
This is one where I was being the stickler in my decision of what to include, and I did not even think about the United Way because it was a digital short and I was keeping my constraints. That said, I think that sketch is hilarious, and I think Peyton Manning is brilliant in that sketch. And the way he yells at the kids, "Go sit in the portalette," just great. But for my vote, I have to go with Almost Pizza because it makes me laugh every time I watch it. Like you were saying, Catherine, the way it heightens, and the angrier Bill Hader gets in that commercial when she won't answer him what it actually is. I love that every time I see it.
Oh yeah, I love when they invoke like legalities into it. Like legally, if you put tofu on the pizza, you could still legally call it pizza. So it's 2-1, Almost Pizza. Ashley, I know these are both from an era that you absolutely love.
Yeah, no, this is tough. But again, I don't think I'll shock anyone with my vote at the end of the day. I am a Lonely Island girl through and through as well. And I think what I loved about this one, because like Gary, this was a digital short in my brain. I never really considered it a commercial parody. But as we were preparing for this and getting it together, I was like, yeah, this is a commercial. And I think, like you said earlier with Catherine, knowing who Peyton Manning is, I think really informs it and what makes it so genius. Because you take this, good old Southern boy that's this upstanding, quarterback that everybody loves and reveres, and he's such a good role model. And then you get this in the sketch, and he's giving a tattoo to a kid and holding like the leather in his mouth. He's teaching them how to break into a car. He's trying to hit on the woman in the park using one of the kids. It's just amazing to me. And yeah, just the background too of when they were filming, he was trying to not hurt the kids as much. And I guess the parents were like, no. Like, maim my child. This is hilarious. Please hit him harder. And I just love that the parents were into it. I just think it's genius. Like Ian said too, you still to this day get these United Way ads, and they're high-fiving all the kids. And then he's, joking about living in his mansion with them. He's like, just kidding, I'm just effing with you. Yeah, as much as I love Almost Pizza, I love that when it falls to the ground, it shatters like glass and then crawls under the refrigerator and creeps everybody out. Yeah, I hate that these two are paired to each other too, but I'm going to go and I invoke your tiebreaker again, Tom.
Oh, it's a tough job,
Oh.
but
Look how
I guess
excited
I'm
he
going to do
is.
it. So, what's that, Gary?
I said, look how excited you are.
Giddy. I don't know. I'm not going to hide it anymore. I think I'm not surprised that Catherine said that Almost Pizza was taught in a class because it's such a great writerly sketch with like awesome beats. It tells this great story in such a compact, funny way. I have so much respect for that. However, I'm going to vote for United Way. Is that one felt like such an event. I think and you can tell by the crowd's reaction too. Like when the second, like it starts out very heartwarming. Peyton Manning is going to give back to the community, and I mean, as SNL viewers, we know like, okay, there's going to be a twist, right? But when the twist happens, it's still really funny. Him like starting to call plays like he's in an NFL game, hitting the kids with the football. I'm a sucker for that. Like his non-lethal violence against children makes me laugh. Like kinda. So a kid gets hit with the football, I'm gonna laugh every time. So I love all the beats in both of these. But United Way felt like so much. It just felt big when it happened. That whole episode did too. So I'm gonna give slightly the tiebreaker for the United Way spot. So goodbye.
It didn't
Almost.
seem slightly. You seemed pretty giddy and pretty sure that you knew what you were doing. That was not a slight edge.
I don't
lie to us.
I don't want to chase off. Let's not chase off Catherine, our panelist here, Gary.
I'm still threatening to walk out at any moment.
I know. I
felt for 2 with you and your
the threat last time.
The way Thomas wields power. That's... I'm sorry, Catherine. For the rest of us, I'm sorry for the way that he's acting.
Catherine, just kind of go over like the beats and why this is such like why Almost Pizza would be taught in a sketch writing class.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a commercial parody in the truest definition of the word. Like it is parodying like a specific product and commercial of the time, which was like the DiGiorno things. I actually noticed watching it today that when she holds up the Almost Pizza box at the end, you can see on the back that it was just a DiGiorno box, and they just rebranded the front of it. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a really good parody. Like I said, I think that it heightens so well. So it's like you said, like very writerly, very easy to break down the beats of the sketch. And I'll leave it with my favorite quote, which is, "Hurry up, it's getting cold. No, if anything, it's getting warmer."
Yeah, you see it sizzling. It's like, if anything, it's getting warmer. And the dad's like pleading with his daughter Nassim, like not to eat it. He's like, hold on. He's like, got to find out if this is lethal and if it's actually food first. Like, yeah, the urgency that Bill plays it with is great. And Kristen pretending to eat the pizza. She's like, see,
that's a
look,
great shot.
Yeah. So thank you. Almost Pizza very, very deservedly made this bracket, but we have to wave goodbye to it and move on to Region 4, where we have a collection of older kind of early 90s sketches here I'm excited to talk about. So we have Crystal Gravy, which was a parody of Crystal Pepsi. And I don't know if that was a you had to be there moment, but if you were around for Crystal Pepsi, it was simultaneous. Well, most of it was like, why? Why does this exist? So Crystal Gravy kind of plays off of that one. It's taken on Colon Blow, which is kind of like lives on as like a really, really big time fan favorite. Of course, Phil Hartman in that one. The winner of that will take on Schmidt's Gay, another early 90s classic written by Robert Smigel, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley. But we'll get to the first round matchup here in this region first. Crystal Gravy taking on Colon Blow. Gary, kick things off.
Oof. These are two of my favorites are pitted against each other because of the weird math that the selection committee does. The Crystal Pepsi, like you said, is totally of the moment. Even the riff on the Van Halen song Right Now, which was used in the Crystal Pepsi commercials at the time. And it's just it captures my youth at that time of like, this was the TV we were watching. And it's so gross and funny. But Colon Blow is so good. It's just Phil Hartman by himself, two camera and an announcer going back and forth. I like you said, Thomas, this is still a fan favorite. There was actually a box of Cold and Blow in the SNL movie, even though this wasn't made for, 15 years later, because it's such a prominent commercial. So I have to go with Cold and Blow.
Yeah, that box of Cold and Blow in the SNL movie simultaneously made SNL fans happy and really pissed them off because it wasn't like accurate to the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but you kind of had to know that going into it too. So I saw it more of like, oh, look, I was happy that they showed Cold and Blow. And apologies to my wife that I'm voting against one of her favorite commercials in Crystal Pepsi. When I told her we were doing this, she was like, "Is Crystal Pepsi on the list?" I was like, "Yes, it's on the list. Don't worry."
Yeah.
So, but I had to vote against it. Sorry.
You had to vote against it. So 1 vote for Cold and Blow. Ian, did you ever try Crystal Pepsi when it came out?
I was going to say it was horrible. I don't know why I don't know why it tasted differently.
Do you remember then they had Kona Pepsi later? Like a few years later, there was Kona Pepsi that was just as gross as Crystal Pepsi.
Yeah, but all that we were doing was taking away the color. Why did it change the flavor?
That's where all the flavor is.
I guess.
Who would have thought?
I guess RFK is going to do a study about that. But no, what's funny is I put Crystal Gravy on my list for the committee, but I'm voting for Cold and Blow.
There you go.
All right.
Because when I saw the list, I'm like, oh, how did I forget Cold and Blow?
I should have looked at that Wikipedia page.
I totally.
It's all right there.
Even though it may cause abdominal distension, you gotta go with it.
2-0 Cold and Blow. Ashley, were you around for the Crystal Pepsi
I don't
phenomenon?
So. I don't remember it. I feel like I've seen it like in pop culture references, but I've never had. I guess the opportunity, or maybe I escaped the opportunity to try it. It sounds like. But yeah, I did think Crystal Gravy was hilarious. It looks just like they're pouring corn syrup all over everything. It's very clearly like corn syrup.
Yeah.
But so I don't know if maybe I just didn't get it because you had to be there and I wasn't there. But yeah, Cold and Blow, kind of like, so the United Way, like friends of mine who aren't big SNL buffs know the United Way commercial with Peyton Manning. They also know Cold and Blow. And I feel like that's also kind of a big benchmark to some of these, is when even people who don't even really watch Saturday Night Live, they might maybe see it in a reference in something else. Like they know Cold and Blow. And yeah, I'm with you guys. I saw the movie and I was happy about the nod to it. Like it was very clearly not meant to be a historically accurate thing. It was an Easter egg for those of us who knew, and we would see it and kind of have that like really kind of fun moment. So yeah, I was not one of the angry fans. I was a very excited fan. About Cold and Blow. Again, yeah, the genius of it, it's just Phil Hartman and the announcer. And it's so simple and it's subtle. And they could have gone with the toilet humor and just had, sound effects or other sort of, impacts from him eating, 200 million bowls of his regular oat bran cereal. But they didn't. And so I think there was genius to, not going super slapstick with it. So I'm going to vote for Cold and Blow.
All right, so Cold and Blow advances. That said, Catherine, please stay. You have a voice in this too. So I want to know. I want to know what you think about the Crystal Gravy ad.
Yeah, I think the Crystal Gravy ad is really fun. Like all the visual gags hit really well. There's also like it's corn syrup, but it has like a lube effect look to it. So like that's sort of nasty when he's rubbing it on his face. And I like it. I will say like all of the 3 sketches in Region 4, I have sort of the same critique of all of them, which is that they have like a setup of what they're parodying. And then it's just kind of like all visual gags. Cold and Blow, kind of the exception. There are like more like written jokes in it, but like none of them heighten anywhere crazy. Like they're all just kind of like they're great, don't get me wrong, but like it's really interesting to compare it to something like Almost Pizza or even like Love Toilet or whatever. They're like all three of these have a very similar vibe to them, so I thought that was kind of interesting.
I definitely agree with that. Gary, am I crazy here? Because it sounds like it would have been like 4-0 colon blow, but I would have voted for Crystal Gravy after like rewatching both of them. Is that nuts?
No, because I think they're both so good, and I think there is something about Crystal Gravy. If you were around for Crystal Pepsi and for like that series of commercials, it does such a great job of parodying those Crystal Pepsi commercials at the time. Look, Thomas, I don't fault you for that. I fault you for other things tonight, but not that.
Okay, jeez. And the Crystal Pepsi commercials seemed like parodies in their own right.
Absolutely.
So after I watched the Crystal Gravy, actually before I hit play on the Crystal Gravy, and I was like, actually, no, I want to watch a Crystal Pepsi commercial before I watch
smart.
This.
That's smart. And that is one of the, I think it's like the only commercial tonight where it's a total ripoff of an actual commercial. And like, yeah. So I feel like I'm going to go back and watch the Crystal Pepsi commercials.
Yeah, please do. It's ridiculous. The Van Halen, yeah, it's so of its time. It's hilarious. So Colin Blow will advance to take on Schmitz Gay in the next round. So let's go back up to Region 1 here. The winner of the first round matchup, Happy Fun Ball, that's taking on Wells for Boys, which is a Julio Torres wrote this sketch. We have Emma Stone, Bobby Moynihan, Cecily Strong with the voiceover. Just such a wonderful, wonderful sketch. So let's start here with Catherine. I want to get your vote.
I'm gonna go Wells for Boys. I love Julio Torres. I think it's such a fun place to play. Like the question of what would Fisher Price make to appeal to sensitive young boys, and I think there's so many places you can go with that, and he found the perfect one. So I'm gonna say Wells for Boys edges it out for me.
All right, 1-0 Wells for Boys. Ian, which off the top of your head, or if you have it written down, which is your favorite warning of Happy Fun Ball? What are you most afraid of happening to you?
I just think do not taunt Happy Fun Ball.
Yes.
That's the classic one, right?
It's almost like, I think it is a parody of the Gremlins warnings.
Do not feed Happy Fun Ball after midnight.
Exactly.
So what do you think, Ian, of this matchup?
It's a tough one, but I really like Happy Fun Ball. It's one of my favorites.
I think kind of two classics of their era, Happy Fun Ball and Wells for Boys. Ashley, I want to go to you for this.
I gotta go Wells for Boys. I think this one was an instant classic to me. I think Emma Stone nails it perfectly as the mom that's clearly enabling and like protecting this child, and making it okay for this child to be sensitive and be okay, to the point where she yells at the other child, because that's not for you. Everything is for you. This one thing. Yeah. I love too how Bobby Moynihan's trying to like yell at him to get the son's attention, and then Emma Stone just very softly almost whispers the son's name. Yes, Mom. It's just, so well written, so well acted and executed. And I did find myself, I think, to give, Happy Fun Ball the benefit of the doubt. As I was watching all of these parodies, I found it so hard to compare the old and the new, just because the evolution of comedy has made these parodies so different. Like the parodies we get today are they're like almost movies, like they're mini movies almost.
The production quality is crazy.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, and I was really careful not to fault it for, obviously, some of these older ones are going to look older, but even just the generational comedy of what we found funny at the time versus what we find funny now is so different. So it's kind of like comparing apples and oranges. And I would say, I guess Happy Fun Ball is literally an orange, or from outer space, I guess. But it's hard to compare those two, but I've got to go Wells for Boys.
All right, so it's going to be 2-1 Wells for Boys. Gary, we don't know quite what Happy Fun Ball is. It's some space goo that's at its
That probably
core.
fell to Earth from outer space.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. It's true. It's and this is a tough one. My favorite line from Wells for Boys is when he's saying he doesn't want to do the commercial anymore, and the mom says, "Do you want to go watch Y tu mamá también?" Like, of all the films to pick, I just think that's a great line.
That was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good. But I have to. This is the worst part: is I have to push it to you, Thomas, because I have to go with Happy Fun Ball. I love Happy Fun Ball, and I think it's just so well done. And there are so many warnings to it that it's, do not play with Happy Fun Ball on concrete.
Yeah, Happy Fun Ball may stick to certain types of skin. If Happy Fun Ball begins to smoke, get away immediately, seek shelter, and cover head. Like, this sketch is just a joke machine after joke
really
machine. Like, when not in use, Happy Fun Ball should be returned to its special container and kept under refrigeration. Like, oh gosh, I just love this. And it's the most plain looking ball you could ever imagine. Too, they put no character into the ball. That's one of my favorite parts of it. As well. So I grew up on Happy Fun Ball. Wells for Boys, though, it really struck me. I remember watching it for the first time, and I know Happy Fun Ball builds a world, like you sort of implies a backstory. It makes you wonder about the backstory of Happy Fun Ball, but I just love the world that Julio Torres was able to build in Wells for Boys. Like, you guys said it, like, Bobby is the dad who doesn't quite understand his son. He doesn't quite know how to relate to his son. He's like, and he asked Emma, like, what is he doing? Or what did he throw into the well? And he's like, a wish. Secret. He threw a
He whispers into his hands and then puts it in
the well. And then Bobby's just sitting there confused, like he doesn't quite know how to relate to his son. Cecily with the great voiceover. I just love this world within this commercial, and it is parodying the Fisher Price, a lot of those Fisher Price ads. So I think it works as a commercial parody and as a world building kind of sketch. So I'm going to move Wells for Boys along. And if you would have told me that I would have been the deciding factor in Happy Fun Ball getting ousted 10 years ago, I would have been shocked because I grew up on this sketch. But the heart wants what the heart wants, and Wells for Boys.
We're all disappointed in you, Thomas.
I know you are, probably especially Ian. I know how much you love this one, Ian. So I want to give kind of last words to you about what makes Happy Fun Ball live on to this day with SNL fans.
Obviously, it's the joke, and I think the earnestness of Mike Myers and Jan Hooks in the beginning.
And Dana Carvey.
It's fun, It's Happy Fun Ball, and it just the way they're little kids playing with it, and just then you see all the disturbing things about it. It is just, it's Happy Fun Ball.
That's the best part, is that they're little kids. Their lines are, "It's happy, it's fun, it's Happy Fun Ball," and that's it. And then the rest of the commercial is warnings for what you can and cannot do with Happy Fun Ball.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
I like that implies a backstory to me too, that the company is so convinced that Happy Fun Ball will be a hit that they still continue with selling it, but they decide that the warnings in the commercial suffice as far as to cover their ass. This is such a good product that we'll just make the whole commercial warnings, and that should do it. That should be fine. Or if it was just leftover goo from I forgot the company's names, but wasn't it the parent company?
It's chemical
Happy Fun Ball.
Yeah.
It was a chemical company. Yeah. So maybe they just had this stuff left over, happened upon it, and they didn't know what to do with it. So
yeah, I love that we never really learn exactly what to do with Happy Fun Ball. You're right. Like Gary said, you get the 15 seconds of them introducing the product, and then they never go back to what the product actually is or does. It's just all the things to be afraid of about it. Yeah.
Now,
and it's on the ground the entire time. I don't think nobody touched it.
Right. It looks like it's on a little pole or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it's too dangerous to put Happy Fun Ball on the ground, so they had to put it on this special pole or something, a stick.
Must have been filmed in your
Maybe that's part of Happy Fun Ball.
Yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe Happy Fun Ball
Like
is
the stick
actually,
might be part of it.
It might be part of it. Yeah, absolutely. We just know that it may suddenly accelerate to dangerous speeds. So, Happy Fun Ball. We obviously all love it, but Wells for Boys moves on. I want to go to Region 2 now. We have Amazon Echo Silver, which beat out Annuel in the first round, taking on Totina's Pizza Rolls. Part 3 specifically. This was a great trilogy, Vanessa Bayer leading the way, but Part 3 specifically with Kristen Stewart. So Totina's Pizza Rolls, Part 3, Amazon Echo Silver. I want to go with Gary to kick things off.
Okay. Oh, this is tough. I really love the Totino's sketch, especially this one, because I'm a huge Vanessa Bayer fan, like you are, Thomas. But
my favorite.
I'm gonna have to. I know. I'm gonna have to go with Amazon Echo Silver, though.
Amazon Echo Silvers. You disappoint me, Gary. You led me on. You said, "Oh, Vanessa Bayer."
I pulled a Thomas every time. Every time it's your vote, you talk up the one that I know you're not going to vote for first. So I did that on purpose.
I didn't know there was such thing as pulling a Thomas. Oh no,
that's just one of the things we have. There's pulling a Thomas. There's pulling a Senna.
Oh jeez.
There's pulling a Jeremy's partner. Yeah, there's a lot.
Oh man,
I just like the threatening way that you said, like, we know you love Vanessa Bayer, and it's like, what did he do to her? Like,
he's not allowed within 500 feet.
I'm just an admirer from afar, regardless of the implication of Gary's tone. Yes, yeah, I have to be. Catherine, what do you think about this matchup?
Oh, this was like my Sophie's choice here. Like, I mean, you heard the way I talked about Amazon Echo Silver, but like when I want to like show someone an SNL sketch, often like Totina's with Kristen Stewart is like what I go to, because it's so funny. I love the world that they like. The first Totino's is already an amazing commercial parody, and then they just brought this whole new layer to it. Like every cut to is amazing. Perfect use of Kristen Stewart. And I prepared for this. I was like, what if they end up against each other? Which way am I going to go? And I still don't know.
It's different when you're on the hot seat.
It's different. I think to try to be objective about it and take like my personal, like weird love of the Amazon Echo Silver away, I think I do have to go Totino's.
Okay. So it's 1-1 here. It's getting interesting. Ian, I want to get your take on this. Pretty cool that this is like the third of a trilogy. It had to live up to strong installments like the first two, right?
My hungry guys. I like the one where she's crazy and there are no hungry guys and it's all in her imagination. I thought that was a really funny one as well. I actually had some help on my list. Gary, last week's guest, Kevin Kelton, him and I met and we discussed the commercial parodies, and Totino's was his number 2 and of all time. And I'm going to vote for it. That's not the reason I'm voting for it. I just think it's really, really funny, and it plays with those commercials so well. And also, my daughter's name is Alexa, and having to hear for so many years, I got to go with Totino's.
All right, so it's 2-1 to.
It's personal for Ian.
Go, Alexa, do this.
No,
Alexa, it's horrible.
Oh man, why did you do that to her, Ian? You should have been clairvoyant and known.
Well, my other daughter Siri does not mind.
Oh, let's just end it there. Good night, everybody.
Yeah. That was a fun show, guys. Yeah, Ashley, what say you about this? I'm almost positive you liked the whole trilogy. Too.
I did. And yeah, when I was first putting my list together, I was really all in for the first one just because I thought you don't get part 3 without part 1. And I think that one was so good with the little activity kit. She's in the background with a little sticky hand on the refrigerator and she doesn't know what to do. and just like the blatant misogyny of the husband who's trying to keep his wife in the kitchen so he can. Obviously, I do not condone that. I'm very much not a fan, but the way they did it was hilarious. And just playing on that trope of it, you know, and how stereotypical those commercials are with, you know, there's the dutiful wife in the kitchen while the men watch the game and she doesn't know what to do with herself. But then just, the production quality of part 3, the more I thought about it, how it ends up being a trailer for a Cannes Film Festival movie that's coming out too. So now you're in this like metaverse where it's not just a Totino's pizza roll commercial anymore. And it kind of evoked for me, I'm such a huge fan of the Mikey Day commercial parodies with like the bug spray bug spray, and then what ends up being the Jake from State Farm. And how, those are essentially like these suspenseful movies. And I just think that's so brilliant. Again, like Catherine said, excellent use of their guest host and Kristen Stewart. It was genius. Beck Bennett still won't turn around and look to see what they're actually doing back there. I'm very clearly going to vote for Totino's.
I'm sorry, Catherine. Amazon Echo
I
Silver.
didn't vote for it either.
I know. I know. I know your heart is with Amazon Echo Silver. Even though I know you obviously love Totino's, but
I don't know about that.
All right, so we have to say goodbye, Amazon Echo Silver. Totino's is kind of a buzzsaw advancing. Probably no surprise there. Headed down to Region 3. United Way, in a close one, beat out Almost Pizza. It's advancing to take on First Citywide Change Bank, Jim Downey piece from October of 1988. It aired during an amazing episode. It kicked off season 14. It was a Tom Hanks episode, actually a two-parter. So I think the first part, I think both parts are great. First part is probably something that people reference more. But I think probably just combine them here for these purposes. First Citywide Change Bank. So let's get Ian to kick off the vote here.
All right, this was the number one on my list, which I know means that United Way is going to win. But I just got to say that it's just, to me, it's my favorite commercial parody, and it's because it's just the idea of a bank that makes change. Okay, that's funny, but how do they stay in business? The answer is simple. Volume.
And that doesn't even totally answer it for me either. It kind of makes sense. Like it makes me shut up about the question, but then you think about it, you're like, okay, I guess.
It's a business that can't sustain itself.
Yeah.
Obviously. And he's saying, well, the more change we make, it would do nothing.
Yeah. It evens out. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, another one that's very, very writerly, very, very of the time when you have people in there like Jim Downey and Jack Handy, Smigel, and all those great writers. This is definitely like late 80s, like very writerly piece. So Ian votes for First Citywide Change Bank. Let's go to Ashley here.
I mean, I feel like I showed my hand earlier with how much I was glorifying United Way. But I will say, as someone who is like embarrassingly bad at math, like it is bad. Like my own mother is ashamed of how bad at math I am. And just counting simple, addition, just how serious they are about making change in the examples that they give. For you want a 10, I can give you 2 5s. I can give you a 5 and 5 1s. I love just how many examples they keep giving for all the. I can give you 2. We won't give you 5,000 nickels unless that's what you're asking for. So I do.
They won't give you 25 twos.
Yeah, so it is so good. It is so funny. I love how, again, it's a classic Jim Downey. I love it, Jim Downey, so much. But again, United Way, that's got to go for me.
United Way takes it for Ashley. Probably no surprise there, but she does love First Citywide Change Bank. Catherine, I generally don't know where you stand on this.
I will say I actually did not see Citywide Change Bank until today. I missed it. And I watched it and I thought, I don't know the cultural context of this commercial parody. And so I Googled it and I found like the original like Citibank credit card ads that they were parodying. And it helped a little bit to appreciate the sketch more. But like still like I didn't laugh until like the 2000 nickels line. Which I think is really funny. And then part 2, I actually liked more. Cause like I liked how it turned the whole thing on its head. And so I was having a little bit of fun with it, but I mean, partially because it's just before my time and United Way is like more accessible to me. I am going to go United Way. Cause it's just fun to see Peyton Manning hit kids with footballs. What can I say?
That's really the ultimate, like one of the ultimate tiebreakers is just kids getting hit with footballs. That's a timeless.
That's all we want.
Timeless comedic piece.
As the lawyer, I think I should point out that they did have parental consent. Again, I'm just saying, so it's totally fine.
There were waivers signed.
Sure, I imagine.
So I shouldn't try this tomorrow. Okay.
Gary, so it's 2-1 United Way.
Yeah. I can't believe that citywide change bank doesn't resonate with people, but I think it's brilliant. I think it's one of the best ever. Jim Downey in the sketch is amazing. I love the line when Kevin Nealon's like, in my rush, I asked for, and he gets it wrong. He's like, but their computers found my mistake. It's so good. I have to go with citywide change bank. Putting it back to you, Thomas.
All right. Sounds
Who are you
good.
going to disappoint this time?
Against my better instincts with the way you're talking to me, I think I'm gonna have to side with you and Ian on this. You tested me. You tested the limits of me being impartial. But I think going into this, I probably would have thought I would have voted United Way. But after rewatching these first citywide change bank ads, and I do remember as a kid seeing them, so I did definitely had a familiarity. I just appreciate the writing so much, and I appreciate the subtlety in it. And Jim Downey's performance is very straight-faced. It's just a very earnest guy who just like really, as Ian alluded to, he thinks this is a really great business idea, and they're providing this really great service. And they're not smacking you over the head with it like those kids in the United Way ad were getting smacked over the head with the footballs. It's very subtle, and I really appreciate that. He's like, we will give you change equal to the amount of money you want change for. Like, and he just, the whole delivery is great. So I'm going to go with first citywide change bank.
Did you forget that Peyton Manning talked about snitches while drinking beer with children in United Way? I'm just going to go one more time try to save it.
I know. He was trying to teach them how to break into a car and everything. That's one thing, if I had to nitpick, much I really enjoy this, but it sort of takes me out of it when it goes a little too far with Peyton Manning, like breaking the law and doing all of that. Like if they like
lose the thread of the game for a second.
Kind of lost the thread with like, okay, well, I know some of this is not believable, but with Peyton Manning, like I kind of don't believe that he would teach them how to break into a car. I don't know, like the whole bit of just using the kid as an end to like talk to this woman, like I thought was great. But if they kept it there, but yeah, the whole like snitch thing and then the break into the car thing, maybe lost me for a split second. So that's my one little. That's what
makes it so funny because you would never imagine Peyton Manning doing any of those things. I think that's why he was so perfect for that, was picking somebody. And SNL kind of builds off it later. It's not a digital short, but where they get Eli Manning to do like the YMCA or like the Big Brothers, Big Sisters kind of thing. And he kind of takes a stab at, the dark side as well. I think that's what makes it so funny. I'm gonna fight for United Way.
That's fair. No, I loved it. I'm just being a little harsh in my nitpicking here. So I think so far in the show I've managed to piss off all four of you. So I've done my job. In that case,
at least once, each of us at least once.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. So everybody loses here, which is what we want.
Oh,
That's
not
what we
me.
strive for.
You Ian pissed me off, just the selection committee, not you.
Yeah. It's still early, Ian, but I appreciate the kind words.
Who said he's not part of the selection committee, Ian?
No,
Nobody.
I think he is.
Nobody knows who's part of the selection committee. I have no idea who's part of it. Region 4 here with this next matchup. Cole and Blow taking on Schmitz Gay. Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, again, Robert Smigel wrote it. So, and that was during and I find it interesting that they aired this during the Michael Jordan hosted episode. So I always wondered what Michael Jordan felt if he was like maybe getting ready for his next sketch and it came on the monitor, if he like being kind of associated with this sketch, with his image. He kind of in 1991, Jordan had like more of a clean cut image. This was before everybody knew that he was addicted to gambling and all that good stuff. I've always wondered how he felt, like if he even put it together that the Schmitz Gay ad ran during his his hosting gig.
Well, during his monologue, he did 3 commercials that haven't come out yet, and one of them was for the Michael Jordan stamp of approval for porno.
Oh, you're right.
If you want hardcore pornography, look for the Michael Jordan label.
Yeah,
and then the douche ad with Julie Sweeney. So
that's right.
It wasn't anything.
Yeah. So he would have been fine, I'm sure, with this.
Yeah.
Imagine the free time that Thomas is going to have now, not always wondering about what Michael Jordan thought of that.
Thank you so much. Now I'm going to be so much more well rested, Ian, because you just gave me that information.
Thomas's wife is going to be pissed at you, Ian. Now he's not preoccupied all the time.
I know, right? She's going to be, I'm actually going to like interact with her and she's going to see the side of me that she never wanted to see because of Ian. No, that's really funny. I actually, now you say that, I remember that. So Schmitz Gay, Cole and Blow. Ian, I'll give you the first vote here.
Yeah, this one's really tough because, like Catherine said, they're both one joke, but just the reactions of Farley in the Schmitz Gay, they're just hysterical. And, you know, the whole trope of every 80s commercial where they open the beer and the water comes up, and there were women who were, you know, they would have sex with a dog, apparently, Spuds MacKenzie. So it was the 80s.
You had to be there.
Yeah, it was the 80s. So I would go with Schmitz Gay.
All right, 1-0 Schmitz Gay. Catherine.
It's interesting. I have very strong feelings about Schmitz Gay, mostly because it is like one joke. Like, I do appreciate that it is taking the trope of like, yeah, beer commercials, they have hot girls. What if they were dudes? But then it doesn't attempt to do a single thing beyond that. And it annoys me because I do think it is such a classic. Like, people love this sketch. And I'm like, but why exactly? But I actually, like, as Ian was talking, I was like, you know what? It does, like, they do find every little visual detail of those commercials. Like, they do a really good job, like, getting thrown into the pool. Like, all of those, like, little observations are jokes in a way. They're just not verbalized. So you gave me a new appreciation for it. I was going to go with Cole and Blow. And I'm still going to go with Cole and Blow.
She pulled a Thomas.
I really wasn't sure for a second. I was like, well, I at least appreciate that there's more writerness to it. So
I was on the edge of my seat there.
You're welcome.
My popcorn.
Yeah, right. Ashley, Schmitz Gay and Cole and Blow, 2 early 90s classics.
I know, and again, obviously I loved Cole and Blow. I voted for it. I love, the genius writing to it. I mean, Phil Hartman, come on. But I think for me, what I love about Schmitz Gay, is the, like, one for one, like, you know, picking out the parody, the zooming in on just the crotches, the, like, excessive zooming in the crotch area. And I love how committed Farley and Sandler were to it. Like, I think two cast members that maybe you wouldn't have originally thought would have, been comfortable playing that role. And I thought they nailed it. They went all in with it. And yeah, it was just, I don't know. Yeah, it's classic. Maybe there's some nostalgia to it as well, because you have such two greats in it as well. What's not to love about the Sandler Farley duo as well. But I'm going to go with Schmitz-Gay.
All right, Schmitz-Gay. Gary, you might appreciate this as a student of SNL history. I think it's important that we all know that we're talking about the original version with the Van Halen's Beautiful Girls song.
Yes.
And not whatever canned kind of rock music that they put. I think the original, and to me, it's important. Like the Van Halen song, like the timing of it with the commercial, to me, that's really important.
Totally agree with you. It really is very important for the commercial, and it just plays so well because of it. It's edited perfectly with that song, and all of the cuts, like when they like lean in, the guy's bending down, and they both lean back together like that, and they do it twice in the cut. It's great, and it works really well with that song. I think it's much better than the canned piece that you see later. Anyway, to my vote, I'm going to go with Colon Blow. Tie it up and pushing it over to you, Thomas.
All right. This is an easy one for me. It's going to be Schmitz-Gay. I think this was just... this is a perfect parody. Like, as Robert Smigel said, he was going for, taking the piss out of the sexist beer ads. That was the whole point of the parody, is not making fun of. I think they did a good job, and especially by 1991 standards, of not making being gay the joke.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job, took really good care of that. I think the joke came out clear of like, we're just, it's a parody of these sexist beer commercials where we see women in bikinis and they're doing conga lines and dancing. So the reveal of the rundown pool magically having water, and then you hear the Van Halen song, and then the whole beat of the guys coming out of the water, and just the crowd reaction, my reaction, like to me, it doesn't get old. I think this is like almost like a gold standard kind of, for me, of like a commercial parody. So Colon Blow, I mean, both of these are kind of one joke, but I just straight up think Schmitz-Gay is funnier than Colon Blow. There's more to it. I think there's more nuance. So I'm going to bid adieu to Colon Blow and advance Schmitz-Gay on. So that's going to be taking on... Well, I'll save it. I'm going to go up to the bracket. We're actually
wait. Can I just say one thing about Colon Blow real quick?
Yes.
Because I think one thing that is just kind of lost in Colon Blow is Phil Hartman's brilliant performance. It's so understated, and him as a straight man, which he does so well. But when the announcer says, how many bowls would it take to equal one bowl of your whatever? And he's like, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Not, it's just like he keeps building, and he's just, the way that he gets those lines across, and then when he's hoisted in the air on this pyramid of bowls of colon, or his whatever oat bran he's eating, he's great, he's brilliant. And that sketch, like, Phil Hartman's performances are some of my favorite of any cast member ever, and I think this Colon Blow commercial as a straight, as the straight man in that commercial is hilarious. So I just wanted to get that out before we move on.
Yeah.
Also, they're parodies of the Total cereal commercial.
Total, yes.
Yeah, of the time. Was it Equal? No, it was Total.
No,
it was Total cereal.
Yeah.
It's so funny how all those like adult cereals like compete for fiber content. Like, that's such fun commentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you think about like what they're implying, or like what they're telling you.
Right.
Like, we don't get leprechauns, you just get to poop more. Like,
and we're going to be the company that is responsible for that. Thank you very much.
That's right.
And Gary, I always like a reason to talk about how great Phil Hartman was.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Me
and
too.
And by that era of SNL standards, not bad effects. With all the Colon Blow, so the cereal bowls turning into a big old pyramid, like not half bad for that era, I think.
And he's all the way up on top and the announcer says something, he's like, what? Because he's so high up. That's great.
Yeah. And you're
There's
in
like a
luck, 'cause-
whistling wind sound.
Yeah.
yeah. Like he's
It
on
was
top
super
of
cold and
Everest.
blow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love that one. Schmitzke advances to the Final Four. Who are they going to see? Let's start with the first Final Four matchup. We have the winner of Region 1, Wells for Boys, taking on Totino's Pizza Rolls Part 3 with the one with Kristen Stewart. So I'm going to start with Ashley with the first vote here.
No, did you see me like having an existential crisis over here?
I pray. I'm telling you, you know me by now. I see it and I pounce on it.
I showed weakness. That was my first mistake. Oh gosh, yeah. Because again, the writing in both is so smart to me. Actually, I don't know what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to have to talk this out with you guys. The thing I love.
That's what we're here for.
Thank you for being a safe space.
Glad we're doing this on a podcast.
Yeah. What I love too about the Wells for Boys universe is the line too, and also balconies. When they need to announce something, you don't just get the well, you get the balcony. How the little boy. I think we need to give a shout out to this little boy that they cast in this
For sure.
Parody as well. Oh my gosh! Super committed to it, nails it when he's looking in the cracked mirror, like the third product that they advertise. Looking in the cracked mirror to ponder life's, like, I can't remember what Cecily says now, but when he touches the water in the wells so gently to get like the gentle ripple effect and everything is just so well done. But again, yeah, part 3 Totino's. I mean, they start speaking French halfway through. Switch to French. Again, Vanessa's accent is exceptional. It's very clear that she's good at speaking French. Oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Can you come back to me? Can I pass?
I feel like this is the premise. I think we went over this with the first time you were on. I feel like this is the premise of this entire show. I'm not the executive producer, but
This is exactly the point. Ashley.
Okay, you know what? We'll do it first. We'll go to Gary for the vote, and Ashley, we will come back to you.
Okay,
this is gonna be a one-time.
Convinced.
Kind of an apology for the last 23 years of how I may or may not have treated you every now and then. This is an olive branch. So Gary, let's just go to you right now.
Totino's.
Okay. Good stuff. Totino's. Okay, Ashley, your turn.
I was going to say, you do owe me for taking away Annual and United Way from me, by the way. Gosh. No, I promise I'm not doing this just to be combative. I think I'm going to go Wells for Boys. So if I don't overthink it, we'll be here for another hour if you let me keep thinking. So I'm going to go Wells for Boys.
I respect it. It's 1-1. Totino's, Wells for Boys. I want to talk to Catherine, actually, because I sense that there's a kind of a push-pull going on within you.
This is a really tough one. I'm on a similar page as Ashley, where they're both so great. They were both instantly classics, easily. I mean, probably in my top 20 sketches of all time. I do think I have to give Totino's the edge, though, just because it is so quotable. I love that. I do love that it's the third part of a series, and it's still it's the best one to me. That's a huge feat. And it plays into what Vanessa Bayer does so well. She plays these types of women perfectly. So yeah, I'm going to give it to Totino's.
All right, great. It's 2-1 Totino's. Ian, are we advancing Totino's? Or are we going to make this?
Well, I just wanted to know, I was thinking, what was Michael Jordan thinking the first time he saw Wells for Boys?
That's what I always wonder.
I think he related to it. somehow.
Okay.
I think there's a side of Michael Jordan, a non-competitive side. He wishes he could be like that little boy. He wishes he would have had a Wells for Boys.
That's why he saw Stuart Smalley
Right?
in that episode.
Good call.
Don't have to. Sorry, let's flash back to Stuart Smalley for a second. I am advancing Totino's.
All of that hemming and hawing that Ashley did, and it doesn't matter.
I
It didn't matter. I know.
I'm not mad at the vocal. Like, that's the thing. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Like you said, Vanessa's got the perfect voice for it, the perfect smile and facial expressions and mannerisms. And yeah, I feel like Kristen Wiig did a really good job at it too, which was what kind of helped make Almost Pizza, that commercially, like, high pitched, in her inflection. I think Vanessa Bayer takes that, to a next level as well. So I'm not mad at it. Again, that's why I was so confused.
Totino's advances. Something I wonder if any of you can clear this up for me. Wells for Boys. The other little kid that Emma's yelling, is that the brother? Is that her other son? Is that just like a neighborhood kid?
I think it's another
that
kid.
is?
I don't think it's her other kid. I think it's like a neighborhood kid or someone else.
Yeah, I assumed
I
it wasn't her child.
Yeah.
Why is
That boy has the most only child energy I've ever seen.
Yes, exactly.
I guess that is only child energy. I was just wondering why that kid was there in the first place. It seemed like they were in the backyard.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. You can't suspend your disbelief for that. Like, of the entire premise of that commercial, that's what you're hung up on.
Who is that other kid? Yes.
Why is that other child in
now
their
that
yard?
Ian cleared up the Michael Jordan thing for me, this is going to be what I'm preoccupied with.
Don't they start the commercial? Yeah, there's like 3 other little boys, and they're like playing with, like what you would think is more stereotypical toys for little boys, and then he's just back there off by himself until he gets the well.
Right.
It's like a forced play group or something.
That was how I always saw it, at least.
Yeah,
Okay.
me too.
I can buy that. Thank you all. You're making me sleep better. You're going to make me sleep better at night because of this podcast. So we have the other Final Four matchup. First Citywide Change Bank taking on Schmidt's Gay. Again, too, from a similar area there or era there. Let's go with Gary for the first vote here.
Ooh, this is a tough one. These two are the same era, which was like my era, and I really love them both. But I'm going to go with First Citywide Change Bank.
All right, 1-0 First Citywide Change Bank. That's a mouthful, by the way. First Citywide Change Bank. That's a good vocal exercise. Catherine, let's go to you.
I mean, I had such strong feelings about Schmidt's Gay, but what I will say for it is that it is more my sense of humor. It's big, it's silly, versus the very understated, dry Citywide Change Bank idea. So I am going to go Schmidt's Gay.
All right, 1-1. Who looks the most nervous about this? Who do I think is the most nervous about this matchup? Most conflicted? I think Ian is. I want to go to Ian.
Yeah, both were on my list, and I'm going to go with First Citywide Change Bank because I think it's the best commercial parody because it's my sense of humor. So it's not the best. It's just, for me, it's my favorite. And I love the part with Phil Hartman where he has the 10-pound note.
Yes.
And while they weren't able to convert it to American change, they did give him English change, which was shillings and 10 pence. And Thomas, in that episode,
the Michael
Tom
Jordan
Hanks
episode? Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Yeah, the Tom Hanks episode. This one occurs, and there is a sketch where it was the alternate Big, where he decides to live as a grown-up and still play Little League, and he injures a bunch of kids. So that episode does have injuring children in it.
Ian, if you don't think I haven't played that part of that sketch on a loop before, you don't know me too well. It was Tom Hanks running over the kid who was playing catcher during the baseball game.
Right.
Yeah. See, kids getting injured is always funny, and I don't think First Citywide Change Bank. probably would have been better served if a kid got injured. I would say Schmidt's gay as well. I guess we'll never know. Who hasn't voted here? Ashley, I want to go to you.
I try to limit my existential crises to one an episode, so I'm going to make this much easier on you guys. I'm going to vote for Schmidt's gay.
All right, Schmidt's gay. What does that mean, Gary?
It means you get to.
It's a Senate.
vote, Thomas.
It means I have to pull a Thomas.
No, it means you get to vote. We all have to sit here in anticipation about what you're going to say.
All right. There won't be much anticipation. We're moving Schmidt's gay on. I know that I complimented, rightfully so, First Citywide Change Bank about how it was very subtle, which I do appreciate. I love that the second part, by the way, features different things that they can do, like taking a shriveled bill and giving back a crisp one so you can put it in a birthday card. Yeah. I love that. They did a lot. Like they managed, they took a lot more meat off this bone than you thought that there would be, which I appreciated. I've always thought Schmidt's Gay was just such a classic. I just love, like, it brings me joy because Adam and Chris are like having the best time with these men, with these
So
muscly, oily men.
Yeah.
And they're just having like just such like the best time. They're doing a conga line. Like, does that even happen in real life? Do conga lines even happen? I don't know, but they're doing one in this. They're just having such a good time. So Schmidt's Gay is going to move on to the championship match. Anything else, Ian or Gary? I know both of you love these that you want to say about this Jim Downey gem of a sketch.
That originally Kevin Nealon was supposed to play the bank representative, and when Jim Downey kept on, giving him notes, Nealon was like, you should do it, and Downey said, well, then I realized I do talk boring. I do sound like this. I do sound just like this guy that I'm parodying. So yeah, this would be a good sketch for me to be in.
And that is one of my favorite parts of this sketch is that it is Jim Downey. It was like the first time I understood who Jim Downey was when I was a kid, when I was like, who the hell is this guy? Like, why isn't, because it is a very Kevin Nealon like sketch and it would be perfect for him. But I think Jim Downey is just great.
And they aired it a year later in the 15th anniversary special.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And then we would find out what a lot of people, especially who worked with him at SNL, already knew, that he's just one of the funniest people out there. So Jim Downey's resurfaced as like this meme from when he was on Conan's podcast, talking about
Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein, yeah, the financier. Yeah. So
what happened to him?
Yeah. So I love that the world has found out how just funny Jim Downey is because of his appearance on Conan. So I love First Citywide Change Bank, but it is not advancing. So our championship match, Totino's Pizza Rolls Part 3, taking on Schmidt's Gay, two Stone Cold classics. Let's start with Catherine with the first vote.
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm suspicious of who the selection committee is because we did narrow it down to the 1 and 2 seeded sketches. It's almost
Catherine,
like
if you listen to
have
this show
something
every
to do with
week, it's 1 versus 2.
I don't think anybody's going to be surprised, nor do I really need to rationalize the fact that I am going to clearly go with Totino's Pizza Rolls Part 3.
All right. Ian, your vote.
Okay, so like I said, Citywide Change Bank was number 1 on my list. Totino's Part 3 was number 2. So I'm going with Totino's.
All right. Totino's is up 2-0. Ashley, Schmidt's Gay. Just I mentioned that Jim Downey lives on and like as a meme. Like I've seen GIFs and memes to this day of people using Chris Farley putting up his glasses to check out one of the guys, and I think people don't even know where that comes from. But it's like something from Schmidt's Gay that I just see on social media that people like a reaction GIF that people use. So it does have this legacy about it.
Yeah, it really does. And even if people don't know why It's just it's iconic. It still lives on. It's still there. Outside of the SNL universe. Just because, I think Chris Farley had such an impact on people too. So many great things. I know we've talked about a lot in Schmidt's Gay, but I don't think anyone's mentioned the fact that they're playing the pool game Chicken and Chris Farley is on someone's shoulders. I think that's an amazing detail that I'm so glad they chose to do. And also how Sandler and Farley never take their shirts off. It's just the other men in the commercial. Yeah. But Totino's. This is another hard one for me just because, like I said earlier, comparing from the different generations and what was funny and the style and, how everything's kind of evolved. It is kind of like an apples and oranges again, but Totino's is just so epic.
All right, so it looks like Totino's is going to be the champion, but Gary, I wanted to give you, before you take a sip of your water here, I want a parched Gary to.
No, it's good. I'm ready to talk about it, Thomas.
You're ready to talk about? Give some final thoughts about Schmidt's Gay here.
I'll be honest. If Ashley had said Schmidt's Gay, I was gonna pull a Gary and make you vote to see who you would vote for. If you would have pulled for Schmidt's Gay or for Totino's.
Luckily, I don't have to divulge that information.
Yeah. Well, I was going to vote for Schmidt's Gay, so it would have been 3-1. Myself, yeah. I think it is such a classic. You've seen it recently and all over the place. So yeah, Schmidt's Gay is wonderful.
And the version with Beautiful Girls by Van Halen, it's hard to find. It is out there. You have to know how to work the Google machine there and put in the right terms and find it. But it is out there. I think somebody posted on Twitter actually like a response to somebody else like posting the one with the generic music, and I think somebody posted in response. And I think that's the only video that I could find. It used to be on Vimeo, but now it's not. So the one with Van Halen's Beautiful Girls, because I think that's a perfect example of music, perfectly synced music to what's going on, really adding. So if I was teaching a sketch comedy class, and Lord knows I'm definitely not qualified to do this, but if I was, I would show those side by side with one with the old Van Halen music, the one with the new music, and have everybody like compare and contrast, and why does the Van Halen music make it better? So just a little nuances that I love about Schmidt's Gay. I probably would have voted, honestly, for Totino's pizza rolls. Just the amazing world building. The fact that Totino's are still incorporated into their love affair. I find like she's like rubbing a Totino's across Kristen Stewart's body. I'm Savina. What's your name? And then Vanessa goes, I've never had one. Like
that line is so perfect. She's like, I'm Sabine. What's your name? I've never had one. It's so good. It's just, yeah.
And the way she says it, like it never occurred to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I never had one.
And I love the turn, like the timing of this is Beck is like, hey, what's going on back there? You girls making out back there? And then it cuts to them making out like just passionately, it's just so brilliant. And it just, I think it's a parody of like some like Totino's kind of commercial with My Hungry Guys and all that. And it's a parody of a movie trailer. So we get
it's a double parody.
It's a double parody, Catherine.
Yeah, and
that's probably why it's the champion.
When Kristen asks her, "What about?" or Vanessa goes, "What about My Hungry Guys? What do you want?
What are you hungry for?
What are you hungry for?"
Oh, that's so funny.
Et toi, tu es mon Totino.
And then Vanessa smoking. We're just naming the beats, but this is just such a good. They're just
that's how good it is.
Yeah, they're just Vanessa's in her arms and she's just smoking, having the time of her life. Like she's just finally free. She's free to do whatever she wants. She doesn't have to just tend to her hungry guys. This is so perfect. Like Schmidt's Gay used to be my favorite commercial parody. I think this actually topped it. I think when this came out, I think this might be top Schmidt's Gay.
I love when they cut to like you're having this dramatic scene that's, there's like the filter over it where it's kind of foggy and the color change is different. And then it cuts back to the full scene of the guys in the living room. And you don't have the like sexual music. You don't have the slow-mo. And they're just standing there like, yeah, I love that juxtaposition too. It's just always so hilarious.
Yeah, so we all love this commercial parody. Rightful winner. Awesome job, everyone. If you have anything to plug, I want to thank all of you. If you have anything to plug, let us know. But thank you so much for being here. Ian, what's been going on with you, your podcast? Do you have a good experience?
I just interviewed Mike Chisholm of the Letterman podcast, and we talked about that. It's a really good podcast for Letterman fans. I'm going to do an episode, my 5 favorite sketches from sketch comedy shows that aren't SNL.
That's
so
fun.
Nice.
It's actually 2 new show sketches on there, which is hard to believe.
Yeah, no kidding. Jeez. So Ian Talks Comedy. They can find it on Spotify, wherever people get their podcasts.
Exactly.
Awesome. It's a great one. Thank you so much, Ian, for being with us. Ashley, returning panelist. You did such a great job. I think you've earned a third time, the Ashley trilogy.
I didn't get and again. This is great.
You didn't.
Great news.
Yeah. Well, in my we'll have to ask the executive producers.
True.
But I think you come back. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. We're when this comes out, we'll have just finished. We'll be, I don't know, a week or two away from the end of season 50 of SNL. How have you felt about season 50?
I feel like there's been a few misses here. I feel like it's really picked back up. The Jack Black episode, I think, was one of the funniest episodes I've seen in a while. Definitely the funniest one of the season. In fact, there was a commercial parody in that one that we probably could have, I think, we'll hopefully be talking about in a few years. The like Flaming Hot Cheetos Preparation H.
Yeah.
Was just hysterical. Oh my gosh. Again, Chester Cheetah's like freaking out. I don't think anyone but Jack Black could have committed as much to make that what it was. But I think there have been some good ones. The Quinta Brunson one last night was awesome. I love her. She's also amazing. So I'm hoping they're kind of, going to finish strong here in the last half. They've got some great hosts queued up. So I'm excited.
No, thank you, and we look forward to talking to you again. Catherine Coleman, thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you. Formerly of the SNL After Party. I miss you guys. I'm not going to lie, I do miss you guys. So what have you been up to? What's lately, and what did you think of the results here?
Yeah, this was so fun. Thanks so much for having me. I'd love to come back anytime. I do miss talking SNL. I don't miss watching every episode like 3 times. But yeah, I have a sketch comedy web series out called The Writer's Room, where it sort of gives you a peek behind the curtain as to what goes through the writers' heads before we write the sketches. You can find 6 episodes on YouTube, youtube.com/@writersroomshow. We just won a special recognition award at a film festival in Austin.
Nice.
And then, I've got shows coming up in New York and Philly. You can go to catherineisfunny.com to see what I'm up to. But yeah, thanks so much for having me. This was a blast.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Gary Seath, a gentleman. Thank you. You're the one who's supposed to be nice to me
and you know what? Brad. I am. That's the sad thing between me and Brad, but I am the nicer one.
So, been doing a lot of great things here at the Not Ready for Primetime Project. What can listeners look forward to, man?
We are wrapping up season 4. So we only have a few more episodes left talking about season 4. And then we have a bunch of things that happened off season. So we're going to be talking about some different things on Deep Thoughts. There's a lot of things that happen between seasons 4 and 5, and we probably will end up talking about that too. So a lot of stuff going on, a lot of drama at the end of season 4 happening in the SNL world. So we'll get to listen to Brad talk about that.
Yes.
I mean, we'll talk about that.
Yes. I love everything that's going on here at the Not Ready for Primetime Project, truly.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And because he was being modest, Thomas did not plug his own show, Pop Culture 5. So be sure to check out Pop Culture 5 wherever you get your podcasts with Thomas Senna and his co-host, Jeremy Dove.
And a huge thank you to you all for listening. Congratulations to Totino's Pizza Rolls Part 3, Vanessa Bayer, Kristen Stewart, Beck Bennett, everybody else for winning Best Commercial Parody. Be on the lookout for all of the exciting things happening here at the Not Ready for Primetime Project, including another edition of Bill Swerski's Tournament Talk. For Catherine Coleman, Ian Fermeglich, Ashley Bauer, and Gary Seath, I'm Thomas Senna. So long, everybody.
Thanks for listening to the Not Ready for Primetime Project. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, please take a moment to rate and review the project wherever you find us. You can also drop us a line to let us know what you liked or didn't and what else you might like to hear in the future at nr4ptproject@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. Have a pleasant tomorrow.